Hi, welcome to Moyna Bass Fishes. I am Jim Moyna. I got a little something to say about practice here on Rayburn. This will be the second practice video. The first one kind of covered like the first 4 or 5 days that I've been here, and today we'll just cover today's. So, and let me just say, the Toyota Series tournaments, they have unlimited practice, so it's kind of nice to just get out and just fish a whole ton, um, and just kind of learn just learn things. Especially with my Lowrance active target, I'm really using that quite a bit and learning learning what it can tell me and what it can't tell me and that sort of thing. So, I mean, I've been using it for a few years now. Got a lot of experience up north with it, but on these southern lakes, it seems like a lot of our tournaments just aren't calling for it. So, but this one, there'll definitely be some fish caught on it in this tournament. However, I'll say this. I mean, I've done a lot of deep fishing. I've done a lot of graphing, and I just don't quite understand what's going on out here with the deep fish. I mean, it's post spawn or even beyond slightly. And these fish should be, a lot of these fish should be setting up in some summer type patterns. I don't know what the females are doing, because I've been fishing a lot of, a lot of stuff out to about 20, 25 feet. And I've been graphing a lot. I've stopped on freaking 50 brush piles at least. I mean, just today, I probably fished like 30 brush piles at least that I found, and caught a few small ones. So some keepers and then some non-keepers. But I haven't caught a fish, 2 3/4 pounds or bigger out on the brush piles yet. So, and I just go in the back of my mind, I'm just thinking of how Keith comes out here and throws a crankbait and just tears it up with that crankbait on brush piles every time. so I keep thinking I need to be doing that, but obviously I can't come up with the right brush pile. It's just not happening. In fact, I have a hard time catching one on a crankbait off a brush pile, period. A swim bait's probably been my better bait off those brush piles, but even then it's not really working that well. So I don't know. I get it in my head when I come into a situation like this, into a tournament like this where it's set up like this. I get it in my head that it's supposed to fish this certain way. And I mean, I'm just trying to force this deep pattern. I mean, I am just trying to make it work. There's something I'm missing, some element that I'm missing. And then just to add add injury to insult, or insult to injury, or whatever the saying is. So I was watching a YouTube video that Todd Castledine posted, I think it was 3 years ago, about fishing this lake, Sam Rayburn, in May. And Todd Castle, this is like, he's won many tournaments out here. He's competed a million times out here. He knows this lake really good. So in this video I'm watching, and it's from 3 years ago, so the lake's probably not exactly the same as it was then, as it is now, but he was saying, I mean, there were flooded bushes like there is now. He said it was a foot high, but anyhow, he was catching deep fish. I mean, he caught a lot of shallow fish, and he said he only fished two deep spots, and he caught a bunch of fish off each one. In fact, one place he literally spent like 20 minutes straight catching fish off of. And they were in depths. He said the fish were in 22 to 30. I mean, I'm not even seriously looking much deeper than 22. I've spilled over into 20, 25, but I've been mainly looking shallower, and thinking that it's going to take the fish an extra bit of time to work their way out to that really deep stuff. And I just in my mind, I just see a gradual progression out there, but apparently they could be out there right now in May, because that was his whole video. Was Todd's video was catching fish out of Sam Rayburn in May. So I mean, he did say he doesn't trust the deep fish. He says they move a lot. They're not that trustworthy, especially in May, which is why he does most of his tournaments. He fishes the shallower patterns for the most part. But so I don't know. I've got a day and a half left to practice. And one thing I did do today, okay, so it got to be later in the afternoon, and I've been just hammering on the deep stuff all day. And I saw this cypress tree up on, a flooded cypress tree up on the bank, or it was in the water, but, near the shore. And I'm like, man, that is the most beautiful, perfect looking cypress tree that there could possibly ever be on this lake. So I actually trolling motor over there, take skip a plastic worm under this cypress tree, and literally it only took like a second and a half for a fish to grab it. And it was my biggest fish of the day. It was like a 3-pounder. So needless to say, then I ran probably, I don't know, 10 more cypress trees, and never caught another good fish like that. Caught a couple other fish. Some were undersized, non-legal, and then a couple were just barely over the minimum length limit for this tournament. So, but I don't know. So that was kind of interesting. So there are some shallow fish, and which everybody probably knows that. But in my mind, I'm thinking, do I need to just start running that stuff and see where that leads me? But man, the deep fish, there has to be big fish going deep. I mean, there has to be places on this lake right now where you pull up there and you catch multiple 4-pound plus fish. I'm not saying you catch like 20 of them, but you might catch 3 fish over 4 pounds, and then a couple of other smaller ones, all off of one spot. And who knows, one of those fish over 4 pounds might be like a 7-pounder. So there's places like that on this lake, and I've been just trying to find at least one of those places. And I don't know. I'm a little discouraged about my deep water fishing out here, but I have learned a lot. I have learned how, reading the forward sonar on this lake. It's a little different than going to a smallmouth lake in Minnesota and reading it there. How so? Well, here there's just such a wide variety of species of fish out here that it takes a while to figure out what's not even worth casting it at. When you first drop the trolling motor out here and look at your active target, I mean, if you've never been here before, you just start throwing at everything you see. And obviously not everything you see is going to be bass. You got drum, you got flathead catfish, blue catfish, you got there's lots of hybrids. They're the cross between the white bass and I think they're, I don't know, the guy the campground manager here, he calls them hybrids, so I guess that's what I'm calling them. But anyhow, you catch lots of those. There's gar, there's crappie. So you just trying to learn what's what is a big part of the deal, and size. It's trying to figure out the size of these fish and what's worth casting to and what's not. So it's been really interesting. I've got a long way to go on that whole program, that's for sure. So yeah, day and a half left, and I do have a game plan, kind of a loose game plan in mind right now, but I don't think it's 100% something I can do 100% of the time. So I'm trying to come up with kind of a secondary pattern, or trying to expand my pattern and see if I can't just have more options available. So, because right now my options are limited if I want to catch quality fish, kind of limited options. So I'm trying to expand that out and have other options for a good fish. All right, so what else? What else was exciting today? Not a whole lot else to say, really. It's just a beautiful day. It was first calm day we've had, so that was kind of nice, because then you can really lock in that active target on your, let's say you're on a brush pile, you can just really lock in on it and watch it really good. Whereas when it's windy, those of you who have used forward facing sonar, you know that when it's windy and the waves are bouncing your boat up and down, it can be really demanding on a person, mentally and physically. It's really demanding, trying to keep your trolling motor locked on the target and your bait as it's coming past that target. The wind can really just drain a guy. Fishing in the wind is draining enough, but when you're trying to run the active target in the wind, that's just super fatiguing. It's really a challenge, so it's another level of being tired, that's for sure. So anyhow, that's all I got to say for this practice day. Like I said, I've got a full day tomorrow. Then Wednesday, I've got most of the day. We got to be off the water in the afternoon at some time. I'll have to double check the time, and then we'll have a meeting, and then the tournament starts Thursday. So, but Rayburn's been good for just catching lots of different types of fish. Let's try to find some. I got to find the females. That's what it's coming down to. Over.